Grand Prix week here in Melbourne.
It is Grand Prix week. All the stars have rolled into town, all the Formula One drivers. The cars were being delivered to Albert Park yesterday.
Oh, you say it like it's an Amazon package.
Well, they were. They literally come out of these huge, shipping containers in different parts and pieces. They get delivered down to the Paddock Club, into their, into their garages.
Yeah. Is that an Allen Key job, you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, right.
I love seeing the drivers out and about in Melbourne at the various functions.
And in the wild. A few people saw Lando Norris running along
cutting laps.
the river yesterday.
Yes.
Also, Jack Doohan, who is one of the young, bright Australian drivers.
He was out last night with his dad, I saw.
He was on a bed. I love a media op.
They all get these gigs for different brands, and he's here for. Well, he was doing a mattress company.
And him and his dad were on a bed.
Cute. Having a pillow fight.
And then he went and made acai.
Anything for the money, huh?
Acai. Is that how you say it?
Acai.
Acai.
Yeah.
Well, last night Lando Norris was in town with Polo Red by Ralph Lauren fragrances. He's done this actually the campaign's really good. He's got there's a bottle of the fragrance, and he's doing, I was trying to explain to him what a doughy was. He was doing doughies around it. And I said to him, is it actually, how many takes did that take to not knock it over? And he said, they got a stunt driver to do it.
He didn't drive the car for the commercial.
He's driving a bit of it, but when they're doing doughies, he said they got a stunt driver because there was still limited bottles of the fragrance and they didn't want him to knock it over. I'm like, how could there possibly be a better driver than you to do that? Anyway, it was at the Stoke House last night. Clint came along and...
I was more excited to see Lauren up there on stage than I was Lando.
Well, when you walked in, they had all these waiters with trays of the Polo Red fragrance on a tray. And the waiter, when Clint came in, he said, would you like a spritz? And Clint picked it up and tried to drink it. Thinking it was like a spritz.
You know what?
And they were like, no, just a spray, like a spritz.
I thought it was
to be fair, I would have done the same.
I thought it was like a cherry spritz in some sort of flash bottle. I thought, how creative. They're doing spritz in fragrance bottles.
I know, it would have been a good idea to
I
put
picked it up and he goes, no, sir, no, just do like a spritz.
And did you have to put it back on the tray?
I put it back on the tray. I kept walking.
Honestly, you can't take us anywhere. How embarrassing.
All right, well, last night, Lando Norris was in town and our very own Lauren Phillips caught up with him.
Hello.
Hello. Am I sitting or standing?
Up to you. We can sit if you like. You did not get the memo about our long Melbourne summer, I notice.
No. Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here. It's beautiful here, isn't it? I love it. It's like the complete contrast of the UK. So I'm making the most of it. I'm a bit burnt and a bit red. But I'm making the most of Australia, so I'm loving it.
When did you arrive back in Australia? It must be nice to come back to start the season.
It is. 2019, I started my season here. It was my first race in Formula One, actually. So some nice memories.
Does the weather come into play this weekend? I think on Saturday for qualifying, it's going to be 38 degrees here in Melbourne. I know you said the Middle East is some of the hottest places you race, but this is actually going to be hotter than some of those races. How hot does it get in the car, and how does that come into you when you're competing in Formula One?
It's pretty warm, 37 degrees will probably be one of the hottest tracks I've been driving at the time. So it's not nice, but it's a good way to start the season because it's straight into the thick end, and then I can slowly get used to it. But also some chances of rain, so we never know what's going to happen here in Melbourne. But
that's classic Melbourne for you.
I don't mind both, but I prefer the sun.
Okay. All right, well, let's park Formula One for a moment and talk about Ralph Lauren fragrance, which is what you are here for. Do you pride yourself as someone who you can smell before they see you walk into a room?
I hope so. I don't know. Of course, I think it's very important. I think it's one of the most important things for people. You don't want to smell bad, do you? So I think you want to smell good, and this is definitely something that makes you smell good. I think, especially over a weekend, where we're working a lot, we're sweaty, we're hot, changing clothes, changing into race suits, out of race suits. So it's not the most probably hygienic, nice, beautiful kind of thing, but you need something to kind of counter that, and that's this.
Do you give yourself a spritz when you get out of the car as well, straight after a race?
It's a good idea, actually. I do normally before because, when we go on the grid, there's a lot of people. So you want to smell good when you're on the grid.
How does it go coming to Australia? You're racing with a local boy, you and Oscar Piastri, are teammates at McLaren here in Australia. Do you feel the support of the Australians? Because people who don't have an F1 team have automatically adopted you into our lives. You're sort of an honorary Australian now.
I don't feel the support because they're all supporting for Oscar. And normally because I've beaten them, so it doesn't help. It doesn't help these kind of things. But,
so what happens then? You're on the straight. It's the last run down the straight. You're 1 and 2. Do you feel the pressure to go, all right, you can have this one?
No, because I want to make it out of Australia. So. I've loved my time. It started with Daniel. Obviously, I did Carlos, Daniel, and now Oscar. Daniel is one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. I spent a lot of time with him, and last New Year I flew to Perth, and I spent some more time here. So I still talk to him. He's here this weekend, so I would go and say hi. As much as we hate each other when we're on track, we're competitors, and we get along. And even between myself and Oscar, we get along a lot. We don't have many other interests outside of Formula One, so it's kind of like we only talk about racing, and that's about it. We know we want to beat each other. Like, we know at the end of the day, there's nothing more we'd love for both of us than to beat one another. But at the same time, we want to just enjoy every minute and push each other and be competitors, but also be teammates. And not always the easiest compromise and balance to have. But both with Daniel and Oscar, great Australians. I've enjoyed my time a lot.
Have they taught you anything? Australians, we're unique characters. Have you learnt any Australian mannerisms, Australian slang?
I have, but Oscar doesn't. I wouldn't say Oscar says that much. I feel like he's more European than Australian now in terms of his use of language.
He did blow up the other day because there's a new rule that's come into Formula One when it comes to the drivers on their radios, and you're all going to cop fines of hundreds of thousands of dollars if you say anything rude or if you swear. And he wasn't happy about that, which is a very Australian thing. Do you think that will be a problem?
Yeah. For many of us, it shall be. I think it'll be harder for some others than I think myself. Oscar, I wouldn't say he swears that much. Like, he's very... I don't know how he looks so relaxed and calm, like 24/7. But I feel like inside he's a bit of a beast, and he's quite scary sometimes. So he definitely has his moments. But even when I would be so annoyed about something, his reaction is just very calm. Yeah. So I wish at times I had that.
I mean, you're so competitive on the track. Are you a competitive person off the track as well?
Oh, yeah, with everything. Any sport I do, whether it's with my friends or my family. I mean, I grew up with an elder brother. So I think there's no one that's a bigger competitor than your brothers. So when I grow up and we're racing together and competing together, I think I grow with that perfect knowledge of what a rivalry is between my brother and myself. So that was a nice thing, but I think that also made me a better competitor. But I still hate losing in whatever I do, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure I don't lose, even if that means cheating. And it's win at all takes, no matter what I do. But yeah, whether it's sport or games or whatever it is, I really hate losing. So I'll do whatever I can.
Well, good luck. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Good luck on Sunday. We can't wait to see you out there. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Lando Norris.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
There we go.
What about Lauren
Ladies and
Phillips?
gentlemen.
Ladies and
gentlemen.
What a
He
nice,
sounds like a nice guy.
nice guy.
God, they're all bloody competitive,
Funny
aren't
though, because I did say, you're coming down the straight 1 and 2, you and Oscar Piastri. It's the home crown. It's the first race of the season. Did you let him have it? He was like, absolutely not.
He was wearing a lovely turtleneck, wasn't he?
He was.
Black
That's why I said at the
woolen
start.
turtleneck.
You didn't
good.
get the memo about the hot weather like the rest of us.
Night was freezing.
Would you be, if you had a daughter, would you be happy for Lando Norris to date your daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was lovely.
I think she'd be happy to date Lando Norris.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Mum
well-
would be.
When he said he was 25, he said, I like, thinking about the future and having a family, and like every girl in the room
Yes.
was like, oh, heart's fluttering. And he goes, but I do have a lot of living ahead of me. I'm only 25. I was
Oh,
like,
God.
25?
Oh, no.
25?
Mate, I was in
I nearly
bed when you were on
finished school
stage.
25 years ago.
Gonna be a good day. Jason Lauren. Wake up feeling good.
On Nova 100.
Jason Lauren.
Follow them on socials.
Nova.